Dr. Jeremy Goldberg, welcome back to the Uncivilized podcast, brother. I don't know if you may be our most prolific guest. So the people, like I just get a sense like every 3 months that the people are yearning for more Dr. Goldberg. And so welcome back to the podcast, man. Great to have you.
Yeah, I sense that yearning in the force, and I'm happy to oblige your every whim, Traver, which I'm sure is a phrase that you have heard before.
Yeah. Not so much from podcast guests, but yes, those words have come across my consciousness. I
Yes,
Go ahead, go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, it's like just straight off the rails, straight away. I love this about us.
Something's happened since the last time you were on the podcast. I believe, maybe, possibly. Anything you
I
want to
mean,
share?
like I had a kid. Is that what you're referencing?
That's what I was
Like
saying. Yeah,
a
like
lot's happened. Yeah,
if you had chosen anything else but that, I would be like, man, you gotta. We hope she doesn't listen to this podcast episode someday. Like, I got
yeah. I
new
mean,
sneakers. I got a new poster.
to those listening, I'm wearing a collared shirt.
Yes,
That's a new look.
it's fucking crazy. For those of you
Yeah.
watching on my YouTube channel, you'll notice Dr. Jeremy Goldberg's in a collared shirt. When I wear a
Mm.
collared shirt, he often asks if I'm going to a funeral. So, what's up, brother?
It's, it's
How
true. I'm like, are you okay? Like, what's
yeah,
with the collared shirt? Is everything all right?
yeah, man. How
Yeah.
where do we begin with how your life has changed since having a kid, or has it?
Uh, I mean, it's perhaps easier to make a list of what hasn't changed,
Yeah.
and that list is I don't even know what's on that list. But when we when I was coming in today to do this recording, this conversation, and I knew it was going to be about fatherhood, I was like, man, I hope he doesn't ask me just some generic softball question as an intro because there's just so much. And here we are. So, I mean, I could just ramble about this topic for a while, but if there's like specific things that you're curious about, happy to jump off there.
Yeah, I think
Maybe I could just start with something,
yeah.
which is, uh, I mean, there's a lot, but one of the things that I've said is that fatherhood has made virtually every aspect of my life more difficult, more challenging, more stressful, different,
Yeah.
harder,
Yeah.
except for presence
Mhm.
and joy.
Okay.
And so I find it significantly easier in moments to be fully here and now and feeling my heart
Yeah.
just pulsing.
Yeah.
And I've described also almost resenting my daughter
Mm.
for that change of like, I'm softer now. I watch stuff on Instagram stories and I tear up. Kendra will send me a weird, wacky thing and it will make me cry. I was watching some stupid show the other night and it had a dad crying about his kid. And I was started crying and I'm like, who am I now? What is this? And I feel like another way I've described it is that this whole experience has taken a chunk of my brain and
Mm.
made me dumber and then just slapped that tissue onto my heart and thus deepened my connection with life itself. And I feel softer and more emotional.
I love that. That's a great
That's a
explanation, a great
that's a
description.
start.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
like, dude, just as a sorry to cut you off, like as a specific example, bro, like I'm wearing a collared shirt, right? And I'm walking out the house. Pre having a kid, I call it the before times. So like in the before times, I leave the house to go record a podcast. And like, what do I have to do? Remember my laptop. And like,
Uh-huh.
that's it. Have a look at myself in the mirror on the way out. And now in the after times, I'm like, do I have literal shit on my body somewhere? Like, is there vomit on my shirt?
Is
You
there
know?
fecal
It's like
matter on my shirt? Yeah.
literally, are there stains that I haven't witnessed? Am I going to
Yeah.
embarrass myself? Uh, and it's just everything's harder. It's like asking for permission to go take a shower. Like, are you good right now? Can I have 5 minutes to go poop? Like, hey. So anyway,
Yeah, I heard
what do
that
you want to? Where do you want to take that?
I heard this sentence that someone said, having kids was the best thing I ever did to ruin my life. And
Yes. My
it's,
my buddy Jason describes parenthood as 51% net positive.
yeah, there you go. Okay.
And yeah, it's like I am conscious always of highlighting the challenges
Mm,
and not the miraculous,
sure.
right? And so I'm like really coming out of a deep dark funk.
Mm,
Uh
okay.
and I'm still like very much in an initiatory experience, this rite of passage that is just cooking me over the fire, and alchemy is underway, and
Yeah.
there's a lot happening. But I noticed as I was walking into the library where I'm sitting today, I saw a tulip
Mm.
that was blooming in the springtime, and I stopped and was like, God damn, that's beautiful. And I'm like, and then I was like, good, Jer, good. Like, notice the beauty, notice the aliveness around
Yeah.
you. Like, this is actually excellent that this is happening.
This is real
Uh,
life.
this is real life. Yeah,
Let's hit for the people listening, especially for the fathers. I think the miracle part, I get it, life changing, all the
yeah.
things. And I don't also want this to be a slog down like, cool, what were the hardest moments and when did you want to give up and all that? What was an unexpected challenge? Let's start there. Like something that just like out of left field that you never would have in the before times thought would be a challenge now.
It's so easy and tempting to just be like all of it, bro. But so here's one way that I have thought about it.
Okay.
So so I'm I'm pretty switched on, right? Like I
Oh
don't
yeah.
drink, I don't smoke. Like I have great friends who are world-class coaches and therapists,
And
and
podcast.
I've done I've done the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and bald podcasters.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And like I have a support system, and I am knowledgeable, and I've spent hundreds of hours talking to experts about parenting and relationships and love and all the rest. And yet, this fatherhood initiation has annihilated me.
Mm,
like
mm,
just smoked me left, right, and center, every which way, upside down and backwards. And so like one of the unexpected things for me has been the so going into it, it's like, oh, I'm gonna need to change diapers, I'm gonna sleep less,
yeah.
my relationship will be challenged, my partner will be undergoing an extreme rite of passage herself,
Hmm.
hormones happen, I'm gonna need to change the bedroom into a kid's room, and there'll be toys around me, etc. So like I understood somewhat the logistical arrangements that I was stepping into.
Sure.
The thing that has been unexpectedly challenging for me, like I'm already tearing up as I just
Uh,
start to think about that, is um is like all of the stories that I'm now confronted with via this shift in identity
mm,
and the way that I just view the world completely differently. So for example, uh my daughter, like I have a daughter, first of
mhm,
all. I'm raising a woman
mhm,
in the world.
mhm,
I know what the world is like,
mm,
right? Like
mhm,
we're in this space.
mhm,
Um, I'm the first man that she's ever gonna love. So that's a thing
yeah.
to sit with. Like that's a responsibility to hold. Um, hey, I might die,
Mm,
and then my daughter grows up without a dad.
ooh,
Like I don't want that to happen.
yeah. Please don't
Like, hey, how's my health? You know?
say
Like my health has significantly greater ramifications now than it did in the before times.
yeah.
Or my relationship with Kendra. In the before times, it was like, hey, we break up. And like, that will be awful.
Mhm,
And that will be really hard, but I'll be okay. Now it's like we break up and there's a rupture in this little perfect humans family system. And
mm,
the ripple effects of that are gigantic. And I'm projecting my own experience and
mhm,
pain onto that because my parents split up when I was young.
yeah.
So it's like, oh, all of the decisions are more grandiose and more significant. And so it's not like, oh, she's got diaper rash
Yeah.
today. That's a bummer and I feel awful. It's like, hey, uh, what is what is the future going to be?
Mm,
Period. Like, I've always cared about the future.
sure.
I spent a decade working in conservation and trying to save the planet and
Yeah.
working on the Great Barrier Reef. And I care about people, and I've started a brand about kindness and compassion and trying to do personal development work. And like, I really do care about the world, and I love being alive. And now it's just as if that has just been cranked up,
Mm,
and dealing with the way that I view the world now, I just think differently. I see things differently. I feel differently. I'm like a different person
yeah.
entirely. And it's not just like, oh, you have a kid now. It is everything associated with that, that at least for me in the before times, I was unaware of that would happen.
Yeah.
Right. And I talked to dads, and it was like, oh, everything's going to change.
Yeah.
Like, get your sleep, prepare. And it's like, ha ha, hardy har har.
Yeah.
But I don't remember a single man saying to me, hey, you're going to start questioning mortality in a much more intense manner.
Yeah.
Or, hey, you're going to hold this creature in your arms, and it is going to rewire the circuitry of your life fundamentally and entirely.
Yeah.
Uh, so, anyway, I'm rambling now.
No, no.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it's beautiful, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Is it that like the weight of the world is now on your shoulders, or is it that like
It's
every
like,
single decision has a different possible ramification?
one way I've been thinking about it is, like, is this just heightening my own insecurities and blind spots and passions and concerns?
Yeah.
So, like, so I just really don't want to. It's
Let it go.
like I don't want to let my daughter down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to let my partner down. Like, in a deep, visceral way. Like, that is so important to me. And at the same time, like, being spread so thin in every direction, and have to make the money and have the hobbies and be a dad and be a partner and have friends and have relationships and do the shopping and do the cleaning.
Mm,
It's being pulled in all of these different directions. And I find it very easy to feel that I'm not doing well at any of those things.
yeah.
And I don't know if that's just me putting undue, unrealistic pressure on myself, or if I'm not being graceful and compassionate
Mm,
enough to who I am and how I'm doing. But it always feels like to me that there's just a little bit more to be done,
mm,
or to be said, or to be felt, or to be planned. This idea of just this like, it's just relentless.
mm,
There's no escape. And I have, one unexpected thing that has come from all of this is I have a much more intense understanding of escapism than I did before. And I was really good at being an escape artist
yeah.
before, with the drinking and the smoking and the drugs and the all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, infidelity, I get it. Like
Mm,
the old adage about the guy that goes out for cigarettes and never comes back. Like,
yeah.
I get it. Like, wanting to just drink a glass of wine or two every night, I get it. Wanting to smoke and watch porn and scroll and all, like, oh, the idea of just having a little break feels so tempting,
Yeah.
right? And it's led to a lot of interest. I mean, you might find this funny. I don't know if I've already told you this, but um, so Kendra, and I've cleared this with her. Like, she's okay talking about this.
Okay.
So don't come at me. I'm already vulnerable right now. Uh,
You're doing good.
so
I love you, bro.
she comes home the other day and was having a hard week, and in that hard week was having a hard day, and in that hard day, was having a hard hour or whatever. And she comes home, and I'm like, hey, and we're talking, and she says essentially, you know, every part of me wanted to go and drive to the bar and get really drunk and fuck a stranger. right now.
Mhm.
And I was like, don't do that. Okay, don't do that, right? And it was this really tender kind of share from her of just
Yeah.
admitting, look, like there's this old, young, immature, deep part of me that just wants to
Yeah.
sabotage my entire life and burn it to the ground because this
Mm,
feels so challenging and I'm expanding so much and I'm at capacity and I'm tired, right? And so in response, I was able to say to her, look, you want to hear my escape fantasy?
mm.
Uh, I, when I, right? And I said, well, my version of that is I want to fake my death and change my name and just walk into the woods and be this hermit monk guy
Yeah.
that lives in the trees and in the silence and befriends a lizard and just listens to a babbling brook for hours. That sounds chef's kiss. Get that in my veins, right? And it was this really beautiful conversation because we were able to connect on that of like, look, this is really hard for
Yeah.
me. And she was able to say, this is really hard for me too. And it's sometimes easy to forget the other person's perspective when I'm stuck within my own challenge story, my own little victim mindset, my own little want wah boo hoo you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you're also going through a thing
Yeah.
too. Oops.
Yeah. Well, if you can take this in, and I hope she hears
Yeah.
this too, I've been around both of you, and you're exceptional parents. And the care, the attunement, the give a
Mm,
shit, the camaraderie between the two of you, the partnership between the two of you. Uh,
mm.
I imagine that archetypally, I'm not a parent, that every parent feels it's a lifetime of inadequacy or fucking up or hurting their kid or whatever. If you have a single dose of consciousness, um, and you guys are exceptional parents.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, exceptional, and you're an exceptional partner. And that little girl is more than lucky to have you as the model of a man in front of her.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, take that. Whew,
Landed.
fuck! I didn't think I was gonna get all banged up on this one too.
Bro,
Should we go to the chat GPT questions?
bro, bro, if I'm banging, you're banging too, man. This is like this screen door hurricane time, man.
Yeah. And if you ever do escape, just send me the Shawshank Redemption postcard. Like if I get a blank postcard
Ah,
and it says like nowhere BC, I'll be like, understood. I'll see you in 2 years.
yeah.
Me and Sage will walk into the woods with you.
There's an oak tree in the park, and underneath that oak tree is buried a key. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's also easy to like I know people in my life who have had it much harder
For sure.
and have right, and it's like it's easy to like I find and I'm wondering how much of this is simply an artifact of being tired and worn down,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, but like it's easy to be like, hey, we've got it good. She's healthy. Like our baby, our daughter, so healthy.
Yeah.
Like sleeps well.
Right.
Took to the boobs straight away. Has no major health complications. It's been relatively
Yeah.
quote unquote easy,
Right.
right? And so I don't know. I just find that the whole process is a practice in self-love and self-acceptance
Yeah.
and all the things that we train for in the before times of
Mm,
clear conversations, healthy boundaries, asking for help, being
yeah.
humble, admitting that you made mistakes, all of it. It's like this little adorable tyrant moved in and just like ratcheted that up to like 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you thought time management was difficult before? Ha ha.
Yeah.
I know we're all standing literally at the door, ready to go out and meet our friends for lunch at a certain time, but I just shit my pants. So take off your shoes, change me, and then like have that happen a couple times. And
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
I will share because we both know the man. But I was reviewing some of Francis Weller's work this week before the initiation or our uncivilized men's initiation, and he talks about like being severed from your life. Like there's a complete severance, an immediate severance. It happens quickly, and a severance from your identity. Like you are no longer the man you were 45 minutes before she was born, or 10 minutes before she was born, and then having to grapple with the knowledge that you can never go back to the before times. Like in his words, you can never go back to who you were pre-initiation. And from what I know about initiation, despite knowing almost nothing about parenthood other than, yeah, nothing, it sounds like if it was anything less than this year, it wouldn't be an initiation. It would just be
No,
like, yeah, this thing happened. You know, like I got a roommate, whatever. Like it's fine. They'll move. You now are fundamentally changed. So as much as I want it to ease up and for the hard feelings to go away and for things for you and Kendra to be easy and smooth, it's there is a part that's like, fuck yeah, good for you, man. You're so deep in it that is like it's
totally.
so archetypally part of initiation. You can't white knuckle this, right? Like that's what makes it. That's why it will change you so profoundly.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that part of me occasionally in the good moment. It's like, you're doing it, bro.
Yeah,
Look at us.
yeah,
Look at us doing it. And also the reassurance that I've gained from people who have walked this path before of saying things like, you're doing it right.
yeah,
It's supposed to feel like this,
yeah,
or laughing and saying, "Oh, I remember when I was where you are.
yeah,
God, that was awful." Right? And oh man, wait till dot 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 happens.
yeah.
Like you got more to come, man. And so that little reframe has been really helpful of, oh, I'm not overwhelmed and falling apart. I'm increasing my capacity and getting stronger every day.
Yeah.
Right. And so I've had to really hone in and focus on the thoughts and the stories that I'm telling myself more and more and more. And I find it has been easier to slip into negativity,
Mm,
pessimism, judgment, self
okay.
talk in that new paradigm. But in saying that, I feel like it's getting easier or better, so to speak. Like I'm building competence,
Yeah,
and that leads to confidence.
yeah.
So we're doing it.
This may be a direction you don't want to go in the conversation, so we can take it or leave it. How has this changed your view or relationship with your own parents?
Um, so our friend Vienna Farron, who is a mindful MFT on Instagram, she did a post a while back and she said something like, once you become a parent, there are only two paths to walk down
Mm,
with regard to your perspective of your own parents.
yeah,
One is, wow, I sincerely underappreciated you my entire life. Thank you.
yeah,
I am so grateful. Wow. Mad respect. I love you so much. I'm sorry that I haven't thanked you every day
mm,
of your life. Like
yeah,
you did a hard, great thing.
yeah,
That's one path. Second path is, holy shit. Now that I have a child, how could you have done that thing to me?
mm,
How could you have shown up like that?
yeah,
Like how dare you?
mm,
Like what were you thinking? Why did you do that? I have so much anger and sadness and resentment
yeah,
towards you in the way that you showed up.
yeah,
And so I, being me, commented on that post and said, "Hey, I am a classic overachiever, so I chose both paths,"
yeah,
right?
mm,
Meaning, hey, mad respect. Thank you. I have profound gratitude for all of this. And there's also part of me that feels a little bit of resentment of like, man, that happened.
mm,
And so overall, it has given me a tremendous appreciation
yeah,
and a new perspective for viewing my parents for sure. And I've literally said to them, hey, I'm sorry that I was not more grateful. Like, I have no idea what it was like until I was in the fire. And, my parents split up. I was largely raised by a mom. And it, like, shouldn't say it that way, but I went back and forth. My parents both raised me. And it was challenging to live that experience. But now with my own child, it's just another level of
Yeah.
holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm grateful for you. I love you. Like I've had conversations with my parents like that.
Have you had any of the like how the fuck could you pieces?
No, and perhaps that's too intense of a description.
Yeah.
Um, but it has given me an opportunity to feel much more compassion for
Mm-hmm.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Like my parents, it was a different era. My parents had me when they were like 22, 23.
Right.
And I think of myself at 22, 23.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't even take care of a six pack of beer for longer than an hour, or I was
And
I
you didn't have the
was
internet, you didn't have books, you didn't have friends
no,
like
I
you
didn't
have
have
now.
therapists that lived in my pocket on an app teaching me how to parent.
Right.
Back then a lot of this stuff wasn't normalized. Like I don't think that therapy was normalized in the way
No,
it is
especially
now,
not
or
for men.
men's work, or
Yeah.
boundaries, or codependency, all these little buzzwords that we all rattle off.
Yeah.
Um, and it was they were young and they did the best they could, and so I have a little bit of both sides.
Mm.
Far more gratitude and appreciation than spite and malice,
Yeah.
certainly. Um,
I have a since we're still kind of on that thread, and I'm not asking you a serious question, but I just I want people who are listening to this to feel into your answer. What keeps you from escaping? And by escaping with you, because I know you well, like you're not gonna go suddenly start drinking. You're not gonna suddenly start smoking dope, let alone the walk into the woods and become a hermit. Like, how do you hold the tension of opposites of I need to be here, I need to provide, I need to keep this tension going because when I rub up against it, I'm doing good, and fuck, I just need a break for 10 minutes. How do you not slide? How do you not go out for cigarettes and not come back? Probably like
yeah,
vegan beef jerky.
yeah. I mean, that doesn't really sound appealing to me either. But I think I'd rather have a cigarette in this moment. Oh,
Me
you got any?
too.
Uh, so one way that I would describe that is so I've long talked about or had this ideal of choosing better suffering or
Mhm.
choosing the healthiest, most exciting form of suffering. Like in a very simplistic manner, burpees are awful, but so are heart attacks. And
I just did this
broccoli,
this morning.
yeah,
Yeah,
broccoli isn't great, but so is, high cholesterol.
yeah.
So you get to kind of choose the suffering that you want. And so the alternative or the alternate side of that is the healthiest, most exciting form of escape. And so for me, as an example, yesterday we got invited to go down to this river and some friends were having a bonfire and they're a family that we enjoy and I love them and they're great. And Kendra went with the baby and I stayed home and read a book for
Mm,
like an hour
mhm,
and the house was quiet.
mhm,
And that's a form of escapism.
mm.
I think, books are one of
The
the
best.
best forms of
Fuck yeah.
escapism. You just like stare at tree carcasses and hallucinate. It's
Yeah,
like, wow, what is happening here? This is great. I'm in another world. I'm
yeah,
dead sober.
yeah.
So that's one thing. And, I go to the gym. That's a
Mhm.
form of escape. I go and hang out with friends. I go for walks. I go for hikes. I do those kinds of things. So the reason I do that is because I, like you and many others listening, I'm like we're committed to a path of
Mm,
highest alignment and integrity,
mhm,
and so I don't want to be that guy
mm,
again that used to drink too much and smoke too much. Like I've come so far, I don't want to slide back down the mountain
mhm,
and then have to get back up here again.
mhm.
Like it's much easier for me to just persist and dig my heels in and
Yeah.
like keep clawing my way upwards. The other side of that relates to what I touched upon earlier, which is look, I've got a little sponge, like we call her slurp slurp sometimes, because my daughter just stares at us like a sponge, and you could just tell, you could almost see her brain wiring itself
Mhm,
in real time. She
mhm.
like gets this kind of vacant stare. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're just literally trying to figure out how life in the universe works right now.
Mhm.
And so I have this little blank slate staring at me, this kind of empty canvas. It's like, who do I want to be for her?
Mhm.
And I find it's much easier to let myself down and much more difficult to let other people down,
Mhm.
particularly when I care a lot about those people,
Yeah.
right? And so for me, it's just a simple choice about who I want to be in the world. And man, that is not a simple thing.
Mhm.
Like it is and it isn't. It's
Not an
like,
easy
oh,
thing.
hey, you're addicted to porn? Just stop watching porn.
Yeah.
Duh,
Yeah.
idiot. Like, oh, you're overweight? Like, stop eating all that stuff and work out. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're cheating on your wife? Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, and uh I remember I was sitting on the couch once with our mutual friend Mark Groves, and we were talking, and he said to me with a dead straight face, with the most loving eyes, "I don't get it. Like, why don't you just stop biting your fingernails?"
Mhm.
And I was like I wanted to kind of slap him in the moment of like, bro, you think I haven't thought of that? Like, I've bit my fingernails since I was this traumatized 4-year-old. Like, oh, just don't do it. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Mark Groves. You fucking genius. Uh, but he meant it in the most loving way, and he meant it because he's a wonderful friend and coach. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, dive a little deeper. Like, what's
Yeah.
stopping you from doing that? What are you avoiding feeling? Right? Like, how does this benefit you, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's my long-winded answer to that.
Appreciate it, man. What is a positive unintended consequence that's come forward for you and Kendra as a couple? Like
From the whole parenthood thing.
from having a kid. Like what did you not see, a year ago? Like you never would have been like, "Holy shit, I can't believe this is happening between us."
Yeah.
That's positive.
Yeah. The most basic thing that comes to mind is simply seeing her become a mom has
Mm,
been this profoundly beautiful thing
yeah.
of just watching her dote on our daughter and step into this role so well
Yeah.
and so magnificently. That's been incredible. The unexpected thing for me was witnessing childbirth and the entire process of from day one, from pre-day one. She was taking like I don't even know what they're called, like vitamins to prepare to get pregnant, and like
Prenatal vitamins.
eating what is it?
Prenatal
Perinatal,
vitamins.
yeah, like prepping the field before the seed was planted, so to speak.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, wow, this is unreal. And then the whole process of being pregnant and the care that she took and the stretches she did and the dedication. And then the like cherry on top of all of that is like witnessing her in labor and in childbirth.
Mm,
And that whole thing, it's like I cannot look at her in that way ever again. Like I see her differently forever now.
yeah.
It's just like, holy, holy hell. Like you did that. You and I've said to her many times, I'm holding Squish. We call the baby Squish since before we knew the sex and whatnot. And like, you literally grew this.
Hmm.
Like, she's like, well, you helped. They're like, no, don't deflect this shit. Like, this this tiny human lived inside of your body
Yeah.
for nearly 10 months.
Yeah.
And then when it came out, you fed this tiny human with milk coming out of your boobs, which we'll leave the biological rabbit hole aside for now because
Yeah.
what the hell is life? Like you fed her, you grew her. You these fingernails that are so cute on her fingers, like you made those
Yeah.
from stuff from your body. It's just unfathomably cool
Right on.
to a big science dork like me to
Yeah.
just witness the entire process. So that's been cool, and I suspect that she would say something similar around me becoming a dad, and she's made remarks like, I just love standing and watching you be with her when you don't know that I'm watching you be with her,
Yeah.
and I do the same.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
and just have
spying
these
on each
little
other parenting.
Yeah, just like creepy stalking. We do that all the time. Yeah. And
She
I'm
would
like,
jump
ha!
up
And
in the apartment
I
she doesn't know about. It's okay.
I jump out and startle her. No, it's not like that. But just having those little moments of, whoa, look at us. Look what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I speak very plainly and succinctly at times. And I think that sometimes when we read all the books about communication and relationships, etc., it feels overwhelming and too complicated. And
Mm.
so I'll say things to her like, I still like you, or hey, still want to fuck you.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you're still second, still want to touch your butt,
Yeah.
or like, hey, I'm glad that we still can laugh together, or I still want to hang out with you, and she does it too, and we have these little moments of like, look at us, like I'm proud of who we are, and I'm
Mm.
proud of what we're building, and I'm proud of how you're doing, and because you hear stories,
Yeah.
and like I said earlier, I completely understand escapism and infidelity and divorce and all the rest of it much more intensely than I ever have,
For
and
sure.
we kind of are getting a lot better at checking in and and like maintaining that connection perhaps is
Mm.
the easiest way to say it.
Yeah.
um
That's rad,
yeah,
man. I imagine the most vital, right? That's what you're
yeah,
showing her is this is what relationship is, and you guys are a team, and you guys get to. It requires a team. I don't want to go onto a whole tangent on single parenthood, uh,
yeah.
but I think it's the way you're doing it is brilliant. Jer, how has
And
this
it
shifted? If you have a question, you have a thought.
No, I was going to just add to that. One of the When I talked earlier about being pulled in all these different directions, one of the challenges is we have a baby who, of course, requires everything from us because for whatever reason, she hasn't learned to make an omelet yet, even
Yeah.
though she's been in the kitchen a lot. It's like she's 7 months old.
Yeah.
So she needs constant care and attention. And you know what else needs constant care and attention is our relationship. And we've talked about that very specifically and very intentionally of, hey, yes, we have to keep the baby alive. And yes, we have to keep her safe. And we have to love her and all the rest of it. And if our relationship, if our connection is unhealthy or falls apart or
Yeah.
is neglected, then that baby and all the things that are required for her is going to be impacted by that. And
Yeah.
so trying to figure out ways to navigate that situation and prioritize the relational dynamic between us while at the same time having other priorities
Mm-hmm.
given the time or the day
Yeah.
has been hard. The
Yeah.
whole thing is just relentless.
Yeah. This sort of
It's like
segues
checking.
into the question I was going to ask is how has this changed, if at all, your work in the world and the way you want to work, the way you're going to work? Is it like, oh, I don't want to do 5 week long workshops in the Caribbean anymore because now I want to be home? Or has it like opened up a part of you that you'll express professionally that wasn't there before? Does that question make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So two things, I guess. One, I said to Kendra the other day something like, I thought that I would be talking a lot more about what it means to be a dad and to be a parent than I
Mm-hmm.
have been,
You thought you'd
and
be doing it more.
more.
Okay.
I don't feel like I have really been spending a lot of time writing about my experience or talking about my experience
Okay.
in a deep level in a way that I would love to do it.
Mm.
And then, secondly, just last night we were sitting on the couch and I said, gosh, I am already so sad to leave you both in June. So
Mm-hmm.
every summer I go to Spain and I lead a 2 week walk on the Camino de Santiago. It's this ancient pilgrimage, and I take people on an experience. And I've taken you, you've done it,
Yeah.
and
Amazing.
it's 10, 14 days away in Europe. And twice Kendra has come out and we've hung out and done things out there.
Yeah.
But this time is the first time where I booked the trip with as little time before and after as possible.
Yeah.
Normally it's like, I'm going to Europe. We'll squeeze a couple days on the front of that to have some pastries in Portugal. And you and I went to a soccer game at Wembley
Yes,
Stadium
so
in
good,
London.
so
Taught a
funny.
work taught a workshop in Scotland.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
did some stuff. And
Yeah,
this time, I just feel so sad. Like the idea of not seeing my daughter for 2 weeks
yeah,
really does something to me because at this stage when she's growing, there are changes all the time.
yeah,
Not necessarily day to day, but sometimes. Like she'll wake up and Kendra and I will look at each other and say, I think she grew last
yeah.
night, or her fingers look bigger, or
Mhm, mhm.
so the idea of being away from my family for the first time feels really sad.
Yeah,
Makes me sad. Um, which is such a great blessing to have to not want to leave where you are,
yeah,
right? Is such a wonderful problem to have.
yeah.
Like, oh, I have to go to Spain and do this world class, once in a lifetime experience that I adore more than anything. And I have to eat croissants every day and, hang out with great people and visit cathedrals.
Right, right.
But, but I would love to be home changing diapers and getting vomited on, which is what I complained about at the start of this podcast.
Yeah,
So there's this ongoing desire for escapism, but also recognizing, but do you really?
yeah,
Do you really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, do you remember? I think the last time we did your podcast, it was you,
The
you
random one.
we talked about like what is the thing like the unexpected skill that you have that you may not know you have that'll come out later. It was like long distance bread bombs or loaf bombs, and we're going to be like the sourdough king of DC.
Totally.
I don't know
We
if
have the
go ahead. I don't know if this is
no, no.
appropriate, but like, do you think having a child will shift your professional trajectory more so than I don't want to be away for 2 weeks. That's like a I think a natural thing, but has it opened something in you perhaps emotionally or energetically that will, if you can even feel a seed of, like you're not going to start the dad blog or become the next dad blogger, but is there
Well,
some part of you that perhaps
what?
wasn't available to you a year ago that is available to you now professionally? I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah. So even when you said you're not going to become the next dad blogger, in my body, I was like, why not? What if I
Yeah,
did?
yeah.
You know, says who?
Long
Says you.
distance.
Yeah. That's pretty good, actually.
Thank you.
Long,
Thank you.
long distance dad bod. So that's been more present in my life because Kendra, my partner,
Mm,
has decided and launched and is leading what's called Mother Circle, which is a
gotcha.
training that she did. Um, what's her name? Kimberly Johnson? Kimberly
Oh
Ann
yeah,
Johnson, I
Leanne
think she is.
Johnson. Yeah, she was on the podcast. Yep,
Okay, so
I got
she
her on.
did a training with her, and now she's running a thing called Mother Circle
Mm,
for women who are interested, involved in, have kids, want to have kids, etc. And I've watched this process and I've watched her work through that process.
mm,
And over the last month or two in particular, I've had like, look at it, it gives me goosebumps, Trey.
mm.
Uh, I've had several little nudges or ideas of why don't you start a thing for dads? Or people will say to me, "Hey, what support do you have? Because I've looked online and I can't find much for dads."
Yeah.
Or the moms in the mother circle or the events that Kendra will attend will say things like, "Hey, does Jeremy have a thing for dads?
Mm,
Because I would love my partner to have some support." And that's one thing that I've noticed since I've become a dad is I've sort of looked around at the content and what's available, and I'm not necessarily seeing the stuff that I want to see or reading the stuff that I want to read. And when I very first began writing on the internet, my sort of mantra was simply write the articles that you want to read
yeah.
in
I,
the
I
way that
want
you
to
want to read them.
I want to put a pin here. What aren't you seeing and what aren't you reading that you want to?
Well, so for example, I don't know off the top of my head if someone said to me, "Hey, who is the guy leading the world's best support group for new dads?"
Hmm.
I don't know that answer.
I don't
Do you
have.
know that answer?
I've interviewed a guy who runs a group here in Boulder for new dads, but other than him, and it's like a local, a dozen guys that are getting together.
Yeah.
Other than him, I literally have zero answer for you, and I'm in men's work.
And
Zero
you have been in men's work for
for
years,
years. For
right? And you know lots of people in that space.
yeah.
And so if someone asks me, "Hey, okay, well, who's the best guy that I should read
Mm.
about what it's like to become a new dad?
Oh,
What's that book?" Or, "Hey,
yeah.
uh what podcast should I start listening to? I'm having a hard time in this fatherhood initiation and
Yeah.
I have questions. Who do you recommend?" And I've just been going through this personally
Yeah.
in my own struggle and strife and being like, "Oh, I don't know. I've been in personal development for, I don't know, 5, 10 years.
Yeah. Longer than
And
that.
I don't have that on the tip of my tongue." Whereas if someone says, "Hey, I want my partner to get into men's work. Like, do you have suggestions?" It's like, hell yeah, I do. I got
Yeah.
like a dozen of them,
Mm.
right? Or, "Hey, who's a good therapist?" "Oh, I got you."
Right.
"Hey, I want to read a book about writing. Who do you recommend?" "Here you go.
Right.
How much time do you have?" Um, so I don't know if that's just me not necessarily looking in the right places, or if it's a nudge from the universe,
Mm.
sort of saying, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
what? Well, now you got to do it."
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think
so
you're.
I've had,
I don't think you're not looking in the right places. I know Dave Boyd with our nonprofit Project Uncivilized. He connected with one of the largest maternal support groups here in Denver, and he asked like, "Well, what do you guys give the dads?" And they kind of did like the puppy head turn of like, why would we give support to the dads?
yeah,
And he's like, because they're 50% of the equation and they need support too. They just need different support. So I don't think you're looking in the wrong place. Like I don't think it exists.
yeah, and it feels for me, it feels what's the word? It feels like a stretch. It feels
Mm,
uncomfortable. It
yeah,
feels like, "Who are you, bro? I just, you've heard me talk for the last hour or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I'm obviously not a genius at being a dad. Like,
That's the
I
point.
I have questions, but yeah, it's exactly the point. And I know from running countless workshops and events and retreats over the years that a huge part of the healing experience is simply to be witnessed
Yeah.
and to see and to hear someone else describe what you're describing. It's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it wrong. Other people are like me." And so I'm like, "Hey, I'm leaning into that more and more, and I'm dating this ferocious, intense woman that is shoving me forward lovingly,
Yeah.
with the best of intention, saying, "Hey, well, you got to do this now."
Mm,
And so I'm thinking about creating more content around
okay.
fatherhood, or doing a better job of documenting my own experiences, or just starting a thing online for dads. It's like, hey, and just starting
Yeah.
simple, call it, I don't know, dad talk or dude talk or
Long
fucking
distance. Okay.
long distance dad talk,
Yeah. There you go.
whatever. It's like, hey, you want to get together and talk and
Share
chat and be
share
witness
some
and
experiences. Yeah. I'm gonna go back and
yeah,
flip this and have them be like, you're not gonna be the next dad blogger and be like, I have an idea. I think
yeah. I've been thinking about this nonstop for you. I think this will be very successful for you.
I would like a small cut every time someone
Yes.
joins your program. You'll
Yeah.
know it's like the weird part of the interview.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't remember saying this part, Traver. Like,
Yeah.
no, you did. You did. It's fine.
God bless AI.
I remember.
I will pay you in burritos and cash. Yeah, see, it was you.
Yeah.
It was you, brother.
I'm
Man.
into that. Yeah. So we'll see. It's just everything's in flux, right? And
Yeah, of course.
my identity is shifting, and my time management is shifting, and my relationship is shifting, and how I see the world, and just all of it. And it's a really weird place to be.
Mm.
And I've also described it as, I feel like I have a child, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm a dad.
Oh, that's interesting.
Eh, Meaning,
Say more.
I don't necessarily feel as if it's embodied in the cells in my bone marrow yet.
Yet. Okay.
But I feel like I'm obviously devoted,
Sure.
and it's not necessarily imposter syndrome as much as just perhaps an example would be when you get your driver's license and
Mhm.
they're like, "Hey, cool, you're a driver."
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I asked my mom for the keys to take the car for the first time, and I was in the car and I was driving down the road thinking, "What the hell? They just gave me a driver's license? I just passed a test. This is crazy." And now I'm behind this death machine.
Right.
Uh, it kind of feels that way when I'm cruising around with my kid.
Yeah.
I still sometimes have this little voice that's like, "What?
Mhm.
This is yours?"
Yeah.
Or she'll start crying, and part of me will look to hand her to somebody, and then the voice reminds me that it's my kid. Like, no, you have to deal with this, dude.
Yeah. You're not Uncle
Oh
Jim.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And so building that competence and confidence. Whereas now, if someone asks me if I was a driver,
Mhm.
yeah, of course. I've been driving my whole life. I'm an excellent driver. I've got thousands of hours under my belt. So that's been interesting too, to give myself a little bit of grace and understanding as I navigate this newness.
Yeah, and I have heard from other dads that in the beginning it feels like there's more of a connection between the child and the mom because that's where the child
Hmm.
came from and the necessity of being fed by the mom, etc. And then there is a stage later when it like she will just glom onto you. And that's really where your role goes more from supporting Kendra to actually stepping into the role. But let me ask you, if we stick on the theme, and I'll wrap up with this question. Now that you're, the number one dad blogger at uncivilized.dadbod.com, what
Mm,
is a piece of advice or a piece of something that someone could have shared, a man specifically, to you as a father that you didn't get, that you wish someone had told you? It's a nice softball. Or ChatGPT wants me to ask you, like, if there's
yeah.
a
So
amusement park called Jeremy Land, what would be the first ride?
yeah. So just to summarize that, you're asking what advice do I wish I would have received prior to all of this happening?
Yeah, and it may not be advice. It just would have been like a share, or someone had said something. Maybe it's like the truth. Like, hey, this is gonna fuck you up in your whole world. Don't worry about sleep and fecal matter.
Yeah.
What do you wish someone had told you or demonstrated to you or shared with you? Let's say like from a man to another man.
Yeah. So I did a clever thing. I did a clever thing, Traver, with my collared shirt on. Uh, prior, Jesus, you can edit that out.
No, no,
No,
no.
leave it in.
That's gonna
Leave it
be
in.
the intro. That's
Let
gonna
him.
be the instead of running ads, I'm just gonna run that section like 5 or 6
Yeah, self-aggrandizing podcast guest. Sure.
times.
So I did this clever thing with my podcast where prior to the baby arriving, I reached out to a bunch of experts and talked to
That's
them
right. That's
about
right. Yeah.
parenting and breastfeeding. And I interviewed this elder midwife who is incredible. And I talked to sleep experts, and I was trying to, get myself prepped. And
Mm,
as part of that, I interviewed a couple of dudes
mm,
specifically to talk about fatherhood and what their experiences were like. And that was really helpful. And I remember my buddy Ryan Pope saying, "Bro, he's like I describe him as in the most loving way. I adore this man. He's a good friend, and I describe him as kind of like the sea turtle in Finding Nemo. Do you know that character?
mm, mm.
He's Australian and he's very mellow and he's kind of just goes with the flow. But so Ryan said in this very thick Australian accent, like, bro, you just gotta let go as soon as you can. And that stuck with me, this
Mm,
idea of just full send, full
mm.
surrender
Yeah.
of, hey, you can try to, I think you said earlier, white knuckle this
Yeah.
experience and you can cling and you can hold on. But at some point, you just need to like let go and embrace the change that's happening to you.
Yeah.
And so I heard a bunch of good things, and I talked to a bunch of dads, and I'd heard the stories, and um but the things that I didn't hear were some of what I touched on at the beginning of this around, hey man, your relationship to mortality is likely going to change.
Yeah.
Hey man, you're going to be under a lot of stress and a lot of responsibility in those first few months, and you're going to be really tired
Mm,
and really overwhelmed,
mhm,
and it's going to be very easy for you to lead yourself to a really dark place,
mm.
like a really dark place.
Okay.
And I did some research. Well, I found myself Googling, do I have depression? Like,
Postpartum.
do I have
Real.
postpartum
It's
depression?
totally real.
And the stats for men that have postpartum depression are considerably high.
Mm.
And I don't see that being talked about very publicly
It'll get
at
shit on.
all.
It'll get like the opposite. It'll get made fun of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you, right? Oh,
Right.
you can't handle it.
Right.
And dump a bunch of shame on top of an individual who's already feeling
Yeah.
very intense. And I don't know, I've talked to you several times over the last few months
Mm.
of like I felt like the spark in my eyes went out, and I missed who I used to be, and I was essentially, I guess the thing to say to attempt to wrap this all up in a succinct, comprehensible manner would be that there is a ton of grief that will come up
Mm.
during this birthing parenthood experience. There will be a ton of grief that comes up during one of the most joyful, blessed, miraculous, best times of your life. And because I wasn't specifically told that,
Mm.
when the grief did arrive for me, it landed like a two by four to the side of the head. It landed like a surprise party I didn't want. It landed like a shock and awe campaign on my heart. And it was like, wait, what? What's happening here? And it took me a while to actually navigate through those emotions and realize, oh, I'm old Jared died.
Mhm.
He's gone.
Mhm.
And that happened very quickly. So I'm living my life. I got this pregnant woman. She's bursting out of her clothes. She's huge. And then maybe 24, 48, 72 hours later, I have a child, and I'm tending to that family unit. And that version of me from a couple days ago, he's dead.
Mhm.
He's gone. And like, there wasn't necessarily some chronic disease that took this dude out. It was a plane crash, gone one moment to the next.
Mhm.
And even up into the point of in the delivery room, I was just Jer. I'm hanging out. I'm like, having an experience, of course. And then the baby arrives, you touch the baby, you hold the baby, and suddenly it's just the before times are done, and now it's this. And so that process, coupled with the fact that there is absolutely, at least in my experience, virtually no time for integration of any kind. You go home and you have a newborn child, and your partner just went through birth, and it's game on. The ref has blown the whistle and the game is underway.
Yeah.
And for a while, for a long time, there's no space to sit and feel and talk and connect and integrate what the hell just happened. And so all of that was happening for me at once, simultaneously. And after a couple months, I realized, oh, this is grief. This is grief. Oh, and it was such a enlightening, beautiful moment of, oh, that's what's happening. Of course that's happening. That makes total sense now that I say it to myself.
Yeah.
Why did no dad tell me I'm going to have to grieve the hell out of my own life prior to this child arriving? So that's my long-winded way of saying prepare to grieve.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing it, and thank you for your honesty and openness on this in this conversation.
Yeah, man.
Where can people go to send you money to buy your extraordinary professional gifts? Where can we and support your child and support your partner? Because
Yeah.
everybody listening to this should be purchasing something from you.
Yeah. Yeah. if you want to support Squish's diaper fund, uh, there's a couple ways. A simple one is I've started a Substack where I'm
Right on.
writing longer pieces, and that's a subscription based model where for $5 a month you can just buy me a coffee or buy me a couple diapers.
Right on.
Secondly,
Wait,
I
just for
do
you, how do people find that?
just long distance love bombs is the name of the brand
Okay,
and the name of the Substack and
gotcha.
the website, and Instagram is where I do most of my work. And then secondly, yeah, I do life coaching. I do one-on-one personal coaching. I also do keynote talks and public events. So if you have a business or an organization or a company and you're like, hey, I want to bring somebody in to help my team or my organization be more compassionate, more understanding, more kind, more emotionally competent.
Mm,
I do that pretty frequently.
right on.
And then yeah, I'm doing a Squamish camping trip in September,
Oh, cool.
which is just a week long, all inclusive whitewater rafting, waterfall hiking, kayaking, fun adventure time, basically. And it's camping and tents. You just have to get to Vancouver Airport. Everything's included, and I think it's like $2,500 for a week of
Brilliant.
just escapism in the best, most exhilarating way. That's what I should rebrand it as Jeremy's Healthy Escape.
Come run away with me.
Come
Right?
run away with me. Come forget your troubles in Never Never Land for a week.
Awesome, man. Well, I
Yeah.
love you. Give Kendra a big hug for me. Give Squish a big hug for me. I appreciate this, but also just you as a man and as a human, as you know. I love you.
Yeah.
Thanks
You're
for
the
coming
best,
on, brother.
bro.
Cheers.
Love you back.
Do you want to help support the podcast? I know you do. Perfect. Here's how. Please take 12 seconds, scroll down, slap us with a 5-star review, and share this episode with one person in your life. Think about this. You tip your bartender and he serves you poison. And all I'm doing is pouring soul stirring truth right into your ears. And if you haven't gotten a chance to grab one of my books, please get a hold of Today I Rise, snag a copy of Man Uncivilized, or get yourself some 28 Days in Darkness. Buy one for yourself, buy one for a friend, and buy one for your ex who's still watching your Instagram stories. I love you. Thank you. Until next time, stay uncivilized.